"I believe you should take a seat for this," my father stated, his voice resonating that recognizable authoritative tone that consistently preceded dreadful news. He stood at our family's vintage mahogany dining table, where we had shared countless Sunday dinners and family gatherings. For the past 30 years, my name has been Alexander Carter, and at the age of 35, I was on the verge of discovery. The extent of my parents' misunderstanding of me: the estate has belonged to our family for 4 generations. Of the expansive Victorian mansion with a wraparound porch and meticulously groomed gardens served as more than just a residence. It symbolized our family's legacy, which profoundly influenced my upbringing. Investigating its concealed aspects, envisioning the day I would establish my own family, your mother and I have been its walls. We were discussing the future of the estate while my father continued to adjust his wire-rimmed spectacles. In his characteristic anxious manner, we reached a decision. It is preferable for it to be directed to Michael. My 3-year younger brother had never demonstrated any interest in the property in addition to utilizing it as security for his unsuccessful business endeavors. I uphold my equanimity, and extensive experience in commerce negotiations benefit me, I observe, I stated, silently consuming water to conceal something. An emotion briefly manifested on my face. To the fullest extent, my dear mother made a contribution. Extending an arm across the table as if to pat, I deftly slid my hand away, placing it. Michael has grand ideas in my lap. Regarding the property, you consistently exhibit such an occupation with your minor real estate endeavors. Minor real estate initiatives, that is what they refer to as the empire. Constructed from the ground up during the last 10 years while Michael had transitioned from one get-rich-quick scheme to another. Have been systematically constructing something significant, something they had never troubled with comprehending. Michael's awareness of the significance of familial custom. My father persistently acquired confidence from him. He will maintain the estate in silence. Just as it should be. I pondered over the properties I currently own, which span across 3 distinct eras of advancement. I meticulously devised and implemented the wealth I concurrently amassed, believed I was engaging in a mere simulation of business, unaware that their valuable estate could accommodate a lobby of my most recent hotel. How did this come about? I inquired, my voice unwavering about my decision. Mother shifted uneasily. We had been contemplating it for a considerable duration. Michael has been experiencing financial difficulties, recent challenges, and with the infant there it was. Michael had arrived. Has found himself in danger once more, and my parents hastened to his aid once again. The fact that he has acquired his latest, the pregnancy of my girlfriend, intensified the necessity. I have devoted my entire life to their decision. After learning about this estate, I expressed my understanding. I am well familiar with every detail of it. It needs comprehensive enhancement. That is precisely why Michael could be created. Requires it more than you do, my father. Interrupted, you are already established. Michael requires your projects. New beginning. A new beginning akin to the new initiate that he received a loss of his capital in that cryptocurrency initiative, or the new beginning following failure in the culinary enterprise or maritime industry that never progressed beyond the planning stage. I gradually rose, adjusting my attire. Thank you for informing me about my silk blouse. I spoke in a meticulously controlled manner, anticipating our meeting with Alexandra. Mother yelled after me, urging me not to be. What is challenging about this is determining what is optimal. I returned for the I fully understand the brief period of personal satisfaction you are experiencing, and I responded accordingly. I indeed have my projects to concentrate on. Upon exiting my vehicle, I retrieved my phone and initiated a call for James to proceed with the entirety of the Riverside development my family was unaware that I had acquired extensively throughout the past 5 years. The parcel of land encompasses the family's reevaluation of minor real estate projects. They dismissed my authority. The complete region while they concentrate on by safeguarding the past, I constructed the future. The subsequent weeks transpired in a haze of I immersed myself in work. Concluding arrangements that have been in motion for months, likely alleviated by my ostensible acquiescence to their my parents rarely communicated with me, with the exception of infrequent group messages about Michael's impending fatherhood. Arrived the day of the official announcement. The parents organized a family meeting. Accompanied by champagne and their customary circle of friends, they provide the ideal environment for a coronation. I arrived publicly on their golden child. Attired in a fitted black dress that likely incurred greater expenses than Michael's monthly remuneration, they are unlikely to observe or be concerned. My mother, Alexandra, yelled out hurriedly. The celebration concluded with a glass of champagne. I am filled with joy. We are pleased you could attend, Michael. Concerned about your potential absence, I acquiesced. The drink, accompanied by a smile, is something I would not overlook. It for the world that Michael was grasping cord adjacent to the fireplace and his pregnant girlfriend, Jenny, was adjacent to him. He had made an effort to dress appropriately, however. His suit appeared to have experienced better days. Days, sister, he exclaimed upon seeing me. Approach as I wished to discuss my intentions for the location I traversed. Understanding how our parents behaved in this context of an exhibition of sibling harmony, Michael embarked on a detailed exposition regarding his idea for the estate that mostly engaged in transforming the garden into a verdant pudding, transforming a library into a home theater. Intriguing, I remarked when he ultimately, after pausing for breath, I have some news regarding my father raised his glass to share. Securing the attention of all individuals prior to things I have not announced to make him clear his throat, assuming his most patriarchal stance. As you are all aware, the estate has been in our family for years, and I am pleased to announce to today's generations that it would be bequeathed to my son Michael, who will perpetuate our family's legacy. Applause resonated throughout the room as Michael exhaled heavily, displaying ostentation while Jenny grasped his arm, virtually radiating with pride. My father expressed his gratitude repeatedly. Michael has exciting plans for the asset, and we are confident in his potential. Superb custodian of our families, I awaited the applause for heritage. I let the applause subside before sharing the excellent news, my voice resonating clearly across the room, and it binds my announcement is imperfect. The mother's smile wavered somewhat. Recognized Tom in my voice, even if it was not frequently heard. As you all are aware, I have been engaged in development activities. I continued projects in the neighborhood today. I am glad to say that Carter Development will commence construction on Riverside Plaza next month. $500 million, $100 million mixed-use development will alter the entire neighborhood. The room fell hushed as my father opened the champagne. The glass froze midway to his mouth. The project will encompass luxury condominiums, luxury retail environment, and a 5-star at the hotel. I resumed extracting my phone. To display the visual representations onto the wall in the living room has been adorned with all the adjacent properties throughout the last 5 and a few years. The entire area will be entirely the regenerated photographs displayed a wonderful quality. Contemporary advancement that would overshadow our family estate depicted in the renderings. The Victorian mansion appeared diminutive and antiquated, in contrast to the resplendent edifices that encircle it, yet that will thoroughly transform the neighborhoods. My mother sputtered. That's the character. I responded with composure that progress is the neighborhood requires modernization. Carter Development is happy to announce that change is not permissible, Michael exclaimed. This is our family residence, to which I turned. His eyebrow raised. I can perceive all that we have approved the permits and secured the money. Site preparation and building commence next month. However, rest assured that you will likely find it enjoyable. Observing the neighborhood undergo transformation from your pudding is green. My father has departed. Pale Alexandra, we ought to deliberate on this matter. I responded that there is nothing to discuss. This is a business matter, akin to your decision-making process. The estate in question pertains to the enterprise I founded. My glass raised to progress. The room exploded into disarray. Companions murmured between themselves. Michael initiated an argument, vociferously, with our father, and my mother appeared tenuous. I exited discreetly, nevertheless, not prior to hearing one of my father's friends whisper, "Are you familiar with her company?" Was valued at that amount in my vehicle. Ultimately, I permitted myself a slight smile. My thumb received a message from James Contractors confirming for the upcoming month. All tasks are proceeding as planned. I responded accordingly. Prompt answer is an opportune moment to demonstrate to them the potential of my minor real estate ventures. The family estate may have belonged to me. Childhood aspiration that I realized something far superior, an empire of my own, not my conditions, and this was only shortly after I departed from the residence. That was intended to be my inheritance. Had a sense of buoyancy not felt in years. Occasionally, The most effective reprisal is not obtaining what you intended to demonstrate to everyone you never needed it initially. The subsequent day, the call commenced. My office phone began to ring incessantly. Calling the subsequent day prior to my completing my initial cup of coffee, the caller ID displayed my father's number for the third occurrence inside an hour. So I sent it to prioritize the stack over voicemail. Miss Carter, the contracts are on my desk. Sarah entered your space. My brother is in the lobby. He is silent. Adamant about meeting you. I saw my caregiver observes 9:15 a.m. It occurred earlier than I had anticipated, although Michael has never been recognized for his patience. Provide me with 5. After a few minutes, I instructed him to proceed upstairs. Accessing my computer to retrieve the growth ideas I desired for all my munitions prepared in the event of this occurrence, Michael abruptly entered my talk. Office door exactly 4 minutes later. His face reddened, and his tie was askew. Halted abruptly upon seeing my office. Eyes expanding as he observed the floor to skylights and the expansive vista. This is your city in Thailand? He inquired while briefly distracted at the office. I responded to one of them out of his fury. I have further contacts in Boston. Chicago, please take a seat, he persisted, standing and running a hand through his disheveled hair. This must cease. Alex, you are going to ruin the development. I am solely annihilating everything. The infrastructure is obsolete, I stated. Rotating my monitor for his visibility, the Riverside PUA project is scheduled to provide thousands of employment opportunities in the region, enhance property values, and produce millions in tax revenue for the municipality. Nonetheless, the estate will stay precisely in its current location. I severed ties with him while I envisioned the construction noise may disrupt. He sank onto your putting green plans. One of the leather chairs opposite my desk. Why are you engaging in this behavior? Due to my parents' selection of me, I was unable to. It is impossible not to chuckle. They selected you, Michael. They did not select you. They are salvaging you. As they have consistently done. The distinction lies in their utilization of my inheritance to execute it this time. That is, he weakly protested. It's not fair. No, it is not, was the response. I consented, however, neither was observing you. Waste every chance afforded to you when they disregarded all that I constructed as minor projects. I initiated another. There is a paper displayed on my screen. Were you aware of that? The annual income of Carter Development exceeds 10 times the family estate valued at employing about 500 individuals that we possess. Development projects in Michael's face had undergone 3 states. I was completely unaware. Naturally, you were not. Neither did Mom and Dad. They were excessive. Preoccupied with concerns over your most recent plan to discern the rationale behind my construction efforts, did you not inform them that I reclined in my chair, observing my brother? Despite experiencing a moment of compassion for everything, would it have made a difference to him? They have devoted our entire lives to observation. What they desired to witness was your identity as the son who required their assistance, and I was the. My daughter's phone did not buzz. I rejected another call from our father. I did so without diverting my gaze from Michael. Alex discreetly expressed the necessity of this to Jenny. Pregnant, and I have nothing else. That is where you are mistaken, I responded, withdrawing. A packet I assembled the previous night for you possesses alternatives that you simply neglect to consider. I searched for them and slipped the folder across. The desk contained a legitimate job offer. A position with appropriate compensation and duties, not fabricated roles established by our parents for Carter's progress over the years. Requires a community liaison for the. I explained the Riverside project to him. Read the documentation by another individual who is familiar with the region and comprehends that the compensation for local dynamics is competitive. There is potential for advancement based on your performance. He gazed upward, perplexity evident. You are proposing employment to me. I am presenting you with an opportunity to earn. I corrected him regarding your merit. No safety net. No preferential treatment. You will report to my project manager, not anyone else. For me, your success will be attributable to you exerting effort. If you fail, you can only hold yourself accountable. Retain the estate. I suggested converting it into regardless of your preferences. It is essential to comprehend that it will be encircled by contemporary elements. Development in the neighborhood over the next 5 years. Michael, you have 2 options. He chose to remain seated and adapt to the changes. Gazing at he finally looked up at the job offer and I observed. For the first time in years, there was an expression of reverence in his eyes as I prepared to start work on Monday at 8 a.m. Be punctual, sharp. He nodded, grasping the packet tightly. Lifeline hesitated as he prepared to depart. At the door, Alex, I apologize for my actions. Numerous factors substantiate it. I did not respond. With words and actions following him, I finally checked my voicemail. 5 messages from our father, each increasingly more urgent than the last final one. Alexandra, please capture my attention. You need to discuss this matter with your mother. We have made an error. Could you please come to us? I have contemplated dinner for tonight, please. Disregarding it, although an element in his tone, a touch of sincere remorse I had never encountered before, prompting my reconsideration, I responded via text. A concise response at 7 p.m. I will bring the development plans. The day elapsed in an amalgamation of meetings and conference calls. Upon my arrival at the family estate that evening was casting a setting. Extended shadows across the meticulously maintained grass. My mother opened the door prior to my attempt. Knock, her visage contorted with concern. Thank heavens Alexandra arrived. Alexandra arranged the dining room table for 3 individuals. This time my father stood as I did. Michael entered, appearing older than I recall from yesterday. Prior to your remarks, he initiated the necessity for an apology. I established my briefcase on the table, adhering to my customary routine. Seat for what specifically? Not upon seeing you, my mother remarked softly. Failure to comprehend your creation. We have concentrated our efforts on assisting you. My father included my brother. We did not succeed in our endeavor. Acknowledge your accomplishments upon observation. The development plans from yesterday. Alexandra, why did you not inform us? Have you listened to my request? Or would you prefer not to? I have dismissed it as yet another trivial matter. The initiative elicited exchanged glances of guilt. We have conducted research on your firm. Father stated that we have observed the advancements. You have completed the rewards. Once you have constructed something extraordinary, we were oblivious to it. And now I inquired. Accessing my briefcase now that you are unable to. We no longer wish to disregard it. My mother expressed a desire for us to comprehend. Inquire about your professional endeavors and future intentions. Any inquiries we ought to have posed years ago. I discontinued the development. Arrange the plans on the table. Allow me to present what I am constructing. For the subsequent 2 hours, I ambulated my guardians via the Riverside Plaza development address to address their inquiries. Initially hesitant, he became increasingly contemplative. As the evening unfolded, I observed authenticity, curiosity in their gaze for the initial time while elucidating the complexities of urban development and sustainable design. This section was mentioned by my father, indicating the architectural renderings enhance the historical edifices instead of overshadowing them. That is, I intentionally responded, permitting myself a little smile. We are not obliterating the past, we are advancing the development. Commemorates the neighborhood's history while providing space for its future. The mother delicately traced the plans. The tree-lined pathways and community all spaces are wonderful, Alexandra. In recent years, we believed you were merely completing a business project. Her pursuit of a whim demonstrated her elegance. To appear embarrassed, we were incorrect. The estate my father initiated, we made that selection meticulously without comprehending the complete context. Without comprehending you, I reclined in my chair, examining both of them for the previous 24 hours. Hours had disrupted their perspective significantly. The daughter they underestimated proved to be greater and more effective than they could have anticipated, while the son they nurtured had acquiesced a role assisting his sister. Michael informed us about the employment offer. Mother spoke as though she were divining my thoughts. Your generosity was unwarranted. I corrected her over her generosity. The position requires fulfillment, and Michael is familiar with the community regardless of his circumstances. Whether one succeeds or fails will be entirely contingent upon you providing him an opportunity to demonstrate his capabilities. My father observed things himself. Never did I refrain from adding every time he faltered. You were present to support him. He never confronted the implications of his deeds, exchanging culpable glances, revealing the truth. My words lingered heavily in the air. My father stated that he would like to rectify the situation. The estate should rightfully belong to you. I should have stood up, gathering Return the plans to my briefcase, no. They both echoed, stunned by the estate. Is relegated to the past. Akin to your assumptions regarding me and Michael permitted him allow him to cultivate a sense of responsibility. Despite your mother's dispute over the inheritance, let him take responsibility for his conditions. Indicate the development plans. This is my inheritance, not yours. Selected for me, yet the one I constructed is the one that matters. Unexpectedly, my phone vibrated with an email notification. I observed it and grinned. Pardon me, I have positive news to convey to the city council just voted overwhelmingly. My father authorized our last permits. Alexandra, please wait. I stood up. There is an additional matter that requires our discussion. Halted at the dining room entrance with a briefcase. Your mother and I have been together. Discussing the estate is not our sole asset. The family investment portfolio exists. Some properties in Maine retain them. I strongly suggested either keeping them or transferring them to Michael. I intended my statement. I have established my legacy. We are aware that my mother spoke gently, however. We hoped you would contemplate permitting us to invest in your firm, not as parents attempting to exert control. However, investors who identify exceptional. I recognize a business opportunity when it presents itself. I did not anticipate your desire to invest in Carter Development. Should you accept our participation? My father stated that we have invested years investing in an unsuitable child's future. Allow us to participate in your endeavors on your terms. I carefully scrutinized them, looking for any signs of manipulation or control. I observed a novel form of respect, perhaps even a hint of pride. I eventually declared, I will have. My chief administrative officer forwarded the investment prospectus for your review and consideration. Make your decision based on the data, not on other factors. I acknowledged and understood family connections. The boundary I established when driving. Upon returning home that evening, I contemplated the extent of my thoughts. Had changed in just 2 days. Family estate that once symbolized all that I once desired now appears insignificant in relation to what I constructed. Parents who have devoted years to dismissing my accomplishments prompted me to invest in myself. Vision and Michael, who had never been required to earn anything, were confronting his initial genuine opportunity to demonstrate his capabilities. The subsequent day, I arrived at my office. Initially, Sarah was present, coordinating activities. Your brother called regarding the day's schedule. She stated that he seeks to ascertain whether he should inform him to wear a suit on Monday. I smiled. The business professional is acceptable, as is Sarah. Ensure his orientation encompasses all specifics of our community involvement without taking any shortcuts. She responded to the contractors for Riverside Plaza, seeking to verify their proposed groundbreaking ceremony. They originally proposed a groundbreaking ceremony for next month, but they have now shortened it to 2 weeks. Resolved to commence the construction of my phone vibrated with a message from my father. Assess the prospectus. It is commendable. Can we arrange a meeting with you? CFO, I will return next week, and my father will accompany me. All of your questions are setting my eye. Approached the window from here. I observed the neighborhood where our familial estate was situated, where my vision may soon transform the skyline. At times the most effective retribution does not pertain to obtaining, even if it pertains to transcending construction, surpassing all others in elevation and extent. I believed you could emulate my assistant's voice. Miss Carter communicated via the intercom. The project team is prepared for the. I responded at my morning briefing while en route. Straightening my jacket was necessary for work. I had established an empire to build and a future to shape according to my specifications 3 months ago. I surveyed the throng while standing on the platform at the Riverside Plaza ceremony for groundbreaking, attended by local officials, corporate executives, and community stakeholders. Occupied the front rows of chairs. My parents sat upright and attentive, their features radiant with an unprecedented pride I had never witnessed before. Michael stood over to the side in a well-tailored suit with clipboard in hand, competently supervising the event personnel. The preceding months have unveiled an aspect of. I discovered the existence of my brother, whom I had never known. Deprived of our parents' protective support, he uncovered a work ethic that astonished. Today signifies not just the commencement of a fresh development. I initiated my address marking the commencement of a new chapter. Riverside Plaza will serve this locality, connect our community's affluent heritage, As I spoke, I considered its promising future. Saw familiar faces in the local business proprietors who initially resisted the development, however, had returned following the city's community outreach initiatives council members who would examine every details of our goals prior to providing their unequivocal endorsement, and the architects and designers that assisted in realizing this project embodies the vision. Beyond mere structures, I persisted. Signifies the potential for expansion and development. The strength of accepting transformation, while respecting our roots, was demonstrated by my father's adjustment of his position. I recognized that he grasped the profound significance of my initial remarks. My investment in Carter Development parents had immersed them in acquiring knowledge about the enterprise with a zeal that compensated for years of disregard to their participation in planning meetings, posed insightful inquiries, and has ultimately started to make them perceive me as the businesswoman I have become, a businesswoman in particular. Added to my prepared speech, I wish to express my gratitude to our community liaison team directed by Michael Carter for their exceptional effort in guaranteeing the project benefits all individuals within our. Michael's head abruptly lifted. He was taken aback by the unexpected acknowledgement which he rightfully got. For the past 3 months, he has labored diligently, arriving early and remaining late for educational purposes. Every facet of the project, he converted community skepticism into assistance via unwavering resolve and authentic concern for their interests following the event. My mother led the laborers in initiating the symbolic first excavation. While holding our hands, Alexandra said, "I do not believe I have ever felt prouder, not of what you have built but of who you have become," with tears in her eyes. Transform, and the individuals you have assisted transform into my father, whilst casting a glance at Michael, who engaged in meaningful discussion construction schedules with local business owners, have accomplished that independently. He rectified them all. He merely required that I have the opportunity to do it later that evening. Organized a modest celebration in my. Michael assisted with the penthouse apartment. Distribute the champagne. I observed how he now conducted himself differently. Self-assured yet not hubristic, dignified. And I never adequately expressed my gratitude to you. I expressed that your presence on the balcony was not just a matter of position, but also a testament to your faith in my potential. You validated my beliefs more than I anticipated. I responded to the community trust you have. His contribution is crucial to the project. Grinned while gazing at the city lights. I was once exceedingly envious of you. Even prior to my awareness of this information, he indicated the skyline that I was aware of. I did not intend for something to occur in that direction, was reluctant to acknowledge it, and now I comprehend your attempts to inform me that success is not solely about what is provided versus what is constructed. I could hear our parents conversing inside. Enthusiastically, with many of my executives vigorously deliberating prospective developments and potential for family development, the estate was once the focal point of all our turmoil. Had receded into the background one additional exquisite historic residence in a neighborhood on the rise. My excitement is palpable. From the Boston office of Sarah. Phase 2 reports are ahead of schedule. The Chicago team seeks to advance. Timeline for the lakefront project. I grinned while composing a prompt reply. The empire I constructed was expanding, surpassing all expectations of my family. Feasible, but more significantly, it possessed the ability to serve as a catalyst for change, not only for the communities we established, however, additionally for my own family. Miss Carter, one of the project managers, consulted with the international team prepared with a tablet. Regarding their video conference concerning London, I acknowledged the expansion and turned back. Michael, as he remarked with a knowing smile, that calls are made. Construct something extraordinary. I will manage it. Items encountered en route to my residence workplace. I encounter our parents immersed in discussion with my chief financial officer regarding my sustainable development strategies. My mother attracted my attention and provided me with an SLE. A nod signifies a display of respect from an business individual to another. The family, the estate once embodied everything I believed I desired. Acceptance and validation. Despite being disconnected from our history due to its loss, I gained something far more valuable. The liberty to establish my legacy and the esteem I earned rather than inherited it. Family that ultimately recognized my true identity. Taking my seat for the video, I observed the framed photograph on my desk, occupied just last week, Demonstrating my family together at the Riverside Pace site was not the ideal family photo we had previously attempted to project something superior, an authentic representation of our future selves, the team in London that Sarah inquired about. I smiled as I turned to my computer, perpetually prepared to construct something remarkable. After all, that is what I excelled, not solely in the construction of edifices but also facilitates possibilities and innovations. The family estate may have origins that have been my childhood aspiration, yet this empire of possibilities constituted my fate.